Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. So as you can see, I'm in a different setting. I tend to move around quite a lot in my videos and I'd really like a set place to film, so let me know if you like the look of this and we'll keep it here. Also, you can probably tell by my voice, I do have tonsillitis at the moment and also a blocked nose. I'm a bit sniffy, so please excuse that, I'm really sorry. So today, as you can see by the title, is part 2 to my collected book haul. These are all the books that I've collected over the last couple of months. These are going to go all the way back from when I went to my holiday in Bath, so as you can see, a couple of months ago, and then some that I have been sent from publishers a little bit more recently. There'll probably be a part 3 to this, and then hopefully I'll have caught up on everything. So let's just get stuck into it. The first set of books are all from a place called the Book Barn International. Every single book in the Book Barn is £1, so I went a little bit mad. I think I bought 10 books from there, but I can only seem to find like 6 or 7, so please excuse me. If I find the rest of them, pop them into the next book haul, but for now we'll get on with those. The first one that I picked up was Wetlands by Charlotte Roach. This is always recommended to me on Amazon whenever I'm browsing or looking at magical realism or more disturbing fiction. We've got a character called Helen who is in a mental hospital, and she decides to have a very in-depth look at her own body in a sort of out-of-body experience, I suppose you could say. She sort of, each chapter or section is divided up into anatomical, disturbing look at individual body parts that she has. It sounds very strange, it sounds very stream of consciousness, but something that I would really enjoy. I'm yet to read Rex, so I don't know too much about her writing style, but hopefully I'll enjoy it, and it's a beautiful cover as well. The next one is a short story collection, and that is Bang Crunch by Neil Smith. I'm not a massive fan of this cover, if I'm being completely honest, but it says on the back, a support group for people who suspect their benign nature has caused benign tumours to grow inside them, a girl with Fred Hoyle syndrome whose age expands and contracts like the universe, a recently widowed woman who talks to her husband's ashes entombed in a hollowed out curling stone, a store detective whose valiant act to save a pair of pink half-skin gloves is entwined with the unfortunate results of an unsuccessful space mission, and a teenage boy who is forced to confront his feelings for his best friend when he sees a day-glow guinea pig in an exhibition. It sounded intriguing, and I've never heard of it before, so I thought I'd pick it up. I don't know when I'll get around to reading this. But yeah, I can't resist a short story collection. Next is Janice Galloway's Foreign Parts. I have her collection of short stories Jellyfish, which I haven't got around to reading yet, which is published by Freight. And I've heard quite a lot of good things about her writing style. It's about 2 women who go on holiday to Normandy and they test the limits of human affection and the territory of a woman's life. I've heard really good things about Janice Galloway's work, and I'm really looking forward to getting to this one quite soon. The next one I picked up is Loose Girl by Kerry Cohen. This is to do with a woman who has a lot of sex for fun, and it explores why that is apparently such a bad thing in society. It was written in 2008, so I'm quite intrigued to see what the values of feminism and slut shaming and things like that, see how they're portrayed in this book. But I'm really intrigued. I don't read enough books about this type of subject, but it's something that really interests me, and it's something that I have very strong opinions of, so I will be getting to this one quite soon. On a similar sort of subject, the next book I picked up is Chicken, Love for Sale on the Streets of Hollywood by David Henry Sterry. This is about a man who becomes a gigolo in Hollywood, which is essentially like a male prostitute, and it's in a very similar vein to Loose Girl. It's about the morality of being a gigolo or being a prostitute or having sex for money or sex for fun, and what that means in society and why it's so frowned upon. I believe this is autobiographical, or at least part autobiographical. Again, don't really read much on this subject, but it is definitely something that I'm interested in. The next one that I picked up was huge, and that's The Icarus Girl by Helen Oyemi. I've never actually read any of Helen Oyemi's work, and that's shameful to me. I really need to read some, because I've heard so many wonderful things about her writing style. This one is one that I've actually never heard of, and it says, Jessamy Harrison is 8 years old. Sensitive, whimsical, possessed of an extraordinary and powerful imagination, she spends hours writing haiku, reading Shakespeare, or simply hiding in the dark warmth of her airing cupboard. As the half and half child of an English father and a Nigerian mother, Jess just can't shake off the feeling of being alone wherever she goes, and the kids in her class are wary of her tendency to succumb to terrified fits of screaming. She's then taken to Nigeria, and the story sort of sets out from there. It sounds really interesting, and I'm really looking forward to reading this soon. I really need to remedy the fact that I haven't read any of her work previously. And the last one that I picked up is The Misadventures of Eleanor Stoddard by Melissa Pritchard. I love the cover of this. I've never seen this before, and it's really beautiful. It's sort of a short story collection, but they do follow on. It's different stories from the life of Eleanor Stoddard and all of her misadventures. So there's various things that go wrong in her life. It sounds really interesting. I think it follows her as she's from quite a young age to when she's a fully grown adult. So yeah, it sounded really intriguing, and I really like the cover, so I picked that up as well. So they're all the ones I can find right now of the ones I picked up at the Book Barn, and then I'm just going to show you now the ones that I picked up when I went into Bath City Centre and went into a couple of the independent bookshops there. The first one that I picked up is Karen Russell's Vampires in the Lemon Grove. You've probably seen quite a lot about this if you like short stories or magical realism. I've never read Karen Russell either. I know it's a big shock because it's exactly my sort of thing, so I know that I'm going to really enjoy this. I'm super excited to pick this up. This doesn't really need much introduction. Everybody that has read it has really enjoyed it. Next is a book that has such a gorgeous cover that it completely caught my eye. I went straight over to it and I knew that I had to pick it up because it's so beautiful, and that is The Facades, a novel by Eric Lundgren. This says, The Facades is one of the most remarkable and talked about novels in recent memory. Set in the once great Midwestern town of Trude, a treacherous maze of convoluted shopping malls, barricaded libraries and elitist assisted living homes, The Facades follows a disconsolate legal clerk named Sven Noberg who sets out to investigate his wife's disappearance. Written with boundless intelligence and razor-sharp wit, The Facades is a comic and existential mystery that unfolds at the urgent pace of a thriller. I did have a look on Goodreads, and this has got barely any reviews. The only reviews unfortunately don't seem to be that good. It says that it's quite complicated, but I don't know, it really intrigues me, so do let me know if you've heard about this already. It sounds really good to me. The next one is something that I really want to get to soon because it's just something completely up my alley, and that is The Boxman by Kobo Abe. And this is basically about a man who is sort of sick of the world, he's done, he's had enough. He lives with this cardboard box over his head and he keeps a diary, and the first chapter is actually instructions on how to make your own, which I think is brilliant, and then from there on it is a diary about reactions, what the public think of him, how he lives his life with it, and it just sounds really interesting and I really want to get to this soon, so I'm going to put this on my TBR, which is over here. There we go. Moving on to books that I've requested and ones that have been sent to me from publishers. So the first one is something that I was super excited to talk about. I did mention it in my Bath vlog very quickly. It was a book that was currently under embargo at the time, so I couldn't talk about it, but I can talk about it now because it's like a month on. I have finished this book, and I want to make a separate video about new releases, things that I've read that are just coming out or about to come out, and this is going to be a 5-star read. Spoilers, but that is Derren Brown, Happy. Now, I haven't talked about this on my channel before, but I am a huge Derren Brown fan. I've seen him live twice. If you guys don't know who Derren Brown is, he is a illusionist, he's a magician, but he also works with psychology and the subconscious and how people react to stuff and why they do, and he performs ridiculously elaborate but wonderful and complex tricks, and he's a wonderful man. He's really genuine about everything and he exposes a lot of fakes as well. He's a wonderful man to have in that sort of community. But this book is a little bit away from all of that. This focuses on well, it says, I mean, why everything is more or less absolutely fine. So it's basically a huge book about the history of being happy. It starts hundreds of thousands of years ago and works all the way up into today, and why things make us happy and what we can do to make ourselves more happy. And it is such a wonderful and uplifting book. I really don't want to talk about it too much right now, but I absolutely loved it, and yeah, I will talk about this in my new releases video, which I'm hoping to do in the next couple of weeks. I can't wait to talk about it more. Next, I requested 2 books from Pam Macmillan, and the lovely Jean very kindly sent them over to me, and the first is The Fat Artist by Benjamin Hale. It appears to be a very grotesque and in-depth short story collection about life and humanity, and it is out now. I haven't read this yet, but I'm hoping to get to this really soon. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic, and I've heard really good reviews about it. The final cover actually looks like that. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it is out in shops now. It came out on the 8th of September, so I'm really hoping to get to this soon. The second book that she sent me is also out now, and this is the final copy. I just haven't got the dust jacket on, which is sort of in a letter shape, and you actually have to pull the tack off to open it. It's very clever. It's wrapped up like a parcel essentially. And this is Herman Koch's new book, Dear Mr. M. As you might remember, I reviewed The Dinner on here not that long ago and absolutely loved it, which is also by Herman Koch, so I was really excited that he was releasing a new book. I have quite recently read this and really enjoyed it, so again I will mention that in my new releases video. It's basically the story of a writer, and he keeps getting letters from this man who is stalking him, and it goes from there. The blurb really doesn't give much away, so I really don't want to do spoilers, but it was fantastic. It was ever so creepy, the perfect thing to read at this time of year, so yeah, look out for that in the next couple of weeks too. Next, I requested a couple of books from Faber, and they very kindly sent them to me. The first one is The Doll Funeral by Kate Hammer. This is her new book after The Girl in the Red Coat, which I unfortunately didn't read. I still do have it in my collection, but I haven't read it yet. But as you can see, I'm about halfway through, almost. I'm about 150 pages in, and I don't know how I feel about this right now. I struggled to really get into it at the start, but now I'm in, I'm definitely going to finish it. It's not terrible or anything, I I don't know how I feel about it. This is a story about a young girl called Ruby who finds out she's adopted. She's abused at home, she's really not very well looked after, but there's also a dual narrative with a woman called Anna who is having a baby and is due to give it away, so you kind of connect the two, you realise that Anna is Ruby's mother. There's also a third narrative in this from a character called Shadow who sort of follows Ruby around, is sort of a supernatural being that is around. I quite enjoy that, but in some aspects I don't. I find it a little bit cheesy, so I don't know how I'm feeling about it, but as soon as it's finished I will give you a proper review. They also very kindly sent me Sex and Death. I've taken the Just Check It off because I'm reading it at the moment. This is a short story collection about sex and death. It's not just one author though, it's many different authors, and most of them I haven't read before, so that's really great for me. I always love discovering new authors through their short stories. I am enjoying it, so I'll be looking forward to finishing this one really soon. Next, I received a short story collection off Granta, which is Prodigals, which I believe is a short story collection about coming of age, so it involves sex and drugs and passion and the degradations of contemporary life. It sounds really interesting, it's a really beautiful cover. I've heard good things about it so far, so I shall hope to be getting to this quite soon. The next one was very kindly sent to me by Blue Rider Press, and that is Little Nothing, a novel by Marissa Silva. This is reflecting against my light, I apologise, but it is an absolutely gorgeous hardcover. So this is the story of a girl called Pavla who's actually born a dwarf. She's born into a peasant family. It says when her parents turn to the treatments of a local charlatan, his terrifying cure opens the floodgates of persecution for Pavla. Little Nothing unfolds across a lifetime of unimaginable magical transformation in and out of human form, as an outcast girl becomes a hunted woman whose ultimate survival depends on the most startling transfiguration of all. So it sounds really interesting and I'm really looking forward to getting to this soon, so thank you so much to Blue Rider Press for sending me this. The next book was sent to me by Old Street Press after I requested it, and that is The Immortals by S.E. Lister. Again, a really beautiful cover. This is the story of a girl called Rosa who is 17, and her and her family live in the year 1945, but they keep living it in a Groundhog style way over and over again. Every single day, every year stays at 1945 in the middle of World War II. She manages to escape that, but falls through time and lands in Dickensian England. And it just sounds so interesting. She meets this guy called Tommy Rust, who is a time gypsy, and they travel through the Jurassic period and all different time periods. I don't read a lot of sci-fi things, but I really do enjoy Doctor Who on the whole, so I'm thinking this might be a little bit like a massive Doctor Who episode, so I'm really looking forward to getting to this soon. And finally, the last book was sent to me from Vintage after I requested it, and it is The Beautiful, A Portable Shelter by Kirsty Logan. This was on a limited release a while back. It was in a hardback and it was really beautiful, but I couldn't get my hands on it. But now they've finally released it in this gorgeous little book, and it has French flaps. As you can see, I'm almost finished. I'll have finished this about 10 minutes after I finish filming this video. This is the story of two women who are having a baby, and they've promised to tell the baby truth, no lies, no fairy tales, no fantasy. So while the other is out, the mother stays with the child and tells them stories behind the other one's back, and they keep switching back and forwards, and the stories that we are told are the stories that are being told to the baby, and they involve all sorts of fairy tales and have a lot to do with the ocean, and I absolutely love it. I've read everything that Kirsty Logan has written and adored all of it. She's one of my favourite writers of all time, and this is no exception. I think that's everything for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you've got any recommendations for me based on any of these books, or you've got any comments on any of these books, if you've read any, please let me know. I'd love to hear what you think. As always, we'll start a conversation. That would be great. Sorry about my voice. Thank you all for sticking with me, and I shall see you in my next video. Bye!